Good morning, y'all. We're going to look at our second lesson on business calculus. Today we will focus on integration, so make sure you have your calculator handy. So we studied marginal analysis by taking the derivative of cost, revenue, and profit functions. Now we will examine the reverse process. We will be given the marginal cost, marginal revenue, or marginal profit, and we'll use a definite integral to find out the exact increase or decrease in cost, revenue, or profit. Okay, so this is just giving you the formulas for dr dx, dc dx, and dp dx. Remember, today you're going to have that given to you instead of you figuring it out. So let's look. I hope this is recording. I've taught 2 lessons and not recorded either one. So, okay. The marginal profit for a product is modeled by dp dx, and I don't know why it looks like the line's not there. Is negative 0.005x plus 12.2. Find the change in profit when the sales increase from 100 to 101. So if you're given the derivative, you're going to go backwards and integrate. So you're going to use your calculator, Math 9, and we're going to set up an integration. Integral, we're going to go from 100 to 101 units. And we're going to simply put this in 3 zeros, right? And you're just going to punch it into your calculator, and we're going to say, oh, looky here. That is 12.15. So let me pause for a second. Make sure you're plugging that into your calculator. And that everything's going well. And then we can try B, which says find the change in profit when sales increase from 100 to 110. So you're simply going to put this back in. So take a second and actually plug that into your calculator and make sure you come out with the right answer. You know that that's Math 9. So the big takeaway from today, from this example, is that when you see dpdx, you know you already have a profit. If they didn't write the dpdx down, but they just said marginal profit is, you know that marginal means derivative. So that's your clue on that one. And if you have the derivative, you have to integrate it. Just like if you have the original equation, you have to take the derivative. So those are your big takeaways. Let's look at a couple more examples. So let me get this lined up. So if f is continuous on AB, then the average value of f on AB is, all this is telling you to do, okay, is 1 over b minus a. What you're doing is dividing by how many units we're talking about. You already know that in order to find the average, if I ask you to find your average test scores for this year, your average, you would add up all your test scores. Let's say we had 7, so you'd add them up and divide by 7. Well, remember, this symbol tells you to add, so integration is adding up. Then if you subtract b minus a, you're simply dividing by how many you had, and that's going to find the average. So let's read this problem. The cost per unit, C, of producing CD players over a 2-year period is modeled by the formula cost equals 0.005 t squared plus 0.01 t plus 13.15. Now, they're telling you 2-year period, so that's telling you that the numbers are in months because it's going from 0 to 24. T is the time in months. Approximate the average cost. So average cost must divide by, in this case, number of months, right? And that's what this out here is. So you're going to have to read problems carefully and see if they have the word average in them. So all I'll do is say 1 over 24 minus 0, right? Times, and 1 over is the same thing as saying divide by, correct? So we're going to go 0 to 24 months, and we're going to put in 0.005 t squared. You can write an x down if you want. In your calculator, of course, you'll just use the letter x. Your calculator does not know. The x in your calculator simply represents, when you have the x in your calculator, that just tells your calculator that it's a variable. Your calculator doesn't care what the variable is. We as people like to use variables that represent what we're talking about, so we're using a t for time. And if you take a second to plug that in, so plug that into your calculator, and that equals 14.23. If you need a second to get this done, hit pause, so I'm not going on, and to get this done and make sure you know how to do it, and then join us back for this last problem. Okay, the last one says find the average value of the function, and of course average simply means to integrate and then divide. So for A, I'm going to divide by 1. It's all 1 over. Remember, 1 over is the same thing as dividing, and it's just going to be 2 minus 0, right? And we're going from 0 to 2, and I'm simply going to type in what they gave me. Okay, and B, we'll do B in a different color. So B is going to be what? 1 over, in this case, 10 minus 0. So you're really dividing by 10. 0 to 10. And just punch in. You don't care if there's an E there. E's are no longer scary for you. Right? So get that typed into your calculator, and you should come out with 8.946. Okay, that's all we have for today. You should be able to do the homework with that. The key ingredients here that we want to know is that when you're given a derivative, you're going to integrate it. If you're given the formula that isn't a derivative that we studied in the first video, then you have to take the derivative. So today we're integrating. We're going to use our calculator. We're going to use that function, that Math 9 function, and you just type them in. The thing you need to know is the big key today, the big vocabulary word you're taking away is average value. Okay, when you see average value, that means we're going to integrate. Why does average value mean integrate? Let's write this down. Remember, studies say average value means integrate. Why is that? Well, how do y'all find the average of anything? You add up all your numbers and divide by total, right? Like if it were your grades, you'd add up all your test grades and divide by how many you have. How many, right? And that would give you the average. Well, in calculus, how do we add things up? We integrate. So that's why when you see average value, that's giving you the clue that this is an integration problem. And if it's average, we have to divide. Okay? So that's that for today. Adios, amigos.